Hey, how you doing? Um, so I fixed this a bit, and hopefully you hear me better, you see me better, blah blah blah. Um, we're here to talk about retro. Life has been kicking my ass, but I am here to tell you that I am going to get this book done. Just briefly, this past year is the worst year of recent years. After losing Lisa and, uh, for 2 months, I really didn't work. Um, we were trying to get the designated graphic novel to fund on Kickstarter, and that was unsuccessful. So that was about a month um, of 30 plus interviews on other people's shows, me and Mark Torres, the creator writer. Um, and yeah, that didn't work out. Um, and then it was me waiting to see exactly when I would be going to Florida. It was even a couple months after that because so August, September, and then October, November passed, and I wound up leaving in December. So that gap in between um, was when I was willing to get back into work. Um, Everything dried up at that point because I think people knew I was going to be gone for 3 months. Um, and yeah, it ruined my freelance work. I had nothing going on. The biggest thing I had going on was designated, and it took Mark a while to figure out what he wanted to do. And I had other work and other projects, but a couple of them folded. Um, this is not going into every detail, but just a summary of sorts. Yeah, then I was gone for 3 months, in which I was in Florida with my family, and the most I did out there was some reading and some sketching, and um, it was good to get away from here for my mental health. Um, and I kind of believed I was better. Um, but frankly, losing Lisa was devastating. And when I returned, unfortunately, it all came rushing back, and I was not in good shape. There was a lot of good things happening, but at the same time, I was clinging to it to avoid dealing with my feelings on being back here and whatnot. Um, so I sort of went a little girl crazy. To give you a short rundown, I was hanging out with a girl and her daughters, and um, it was all great and fun on the surface. But in the end, um, she wasn't the right type of person for me. And then I did some online dating just to get over that because that was kind of more devastating than losing Lisa. is what it felt like. And after a couple of what I thought were great connections turned out to be flops, I did meet a nice person, Julie, who is still currently a friend. We connected as friends, and we're continuing to be friends. One of the recent events, and this is just giving you background, is I had to let go of 3 of my cats. I had 4 cats here. I was planning to look for a home for my newest addition, which was Eddie. He was a former neighbor of Lisa's who got kicked out and left Eddie behind. He's a great cat. I love him dearly. He's a goofball. He's built solid. He's all muscle and super friendly with people, even total strangers. Super awesome cat. And just because, you know, I wanted to thin my tribe down a bit. And yeah, so Julie wound up taking Eddie, and that worked out great. She has 2 dogs out where she's living right now, and I wouldn't say they all get along perfectly, but they've worked it out, and they're all more comfortable together. Eddie wants to be friends with them, and they're kind of scared of him because he's a bulldog. He's a bull in a china shop kind of cat. And so that was kind of painful as well. Parting with him, and then the rescue actually took my other 2, which was Clea and Ripley, and took about a month and a half for me to accept that, you know, all 3 of them moved on and are doing really well in where they're at. It took the one I have that remains a while to accept that he's the only one. And so Rocket is the only cat I have now, which he's outside right now. So yeah, you know, it's mostly been really good with him. It's taken a lot of adjustment, because I was feeding all 4 cats wet food morning and evening, and he still wants that. For some reason, eating dry food has been something he's stopped doing as regularly. And I've been trying to find dry food that he would accept. There's, you know, at the moment, there's only one brand that he'll snack on every once in a while, but mostly he demands wet food, and he's a very demanding cat, and he's vocal as hell now because it's just him, and he yells at me every day. But good thing is, if he's inside, he sleeps throughout most of the day. You know, but mostly he likes going outside. Good weather, bad weather. He's kind of originally an outdoor cat anyway, so he's fine with that, and he loves being outside. So work-wise, just having the 1 cat as opposed to 4, it's been much better. I'm getting a lot more work done. So to go back a little bit, I once Lisa passed, I didn't work until just this past summer. It was June, July, August. Um, in that mix, I started to draw a lot more. It's worked in the past, and it got me into the flow, and I started working on designated again because what Mark did develop is putting the first issue, because it was originally written as a 5-issue book, and so instead of crowdfunding the whole thing at once, he decided to do individual issues and to do them in black and white and go with a much lower goal, and you know, hopefully we'll have more success with that. What turned out is that we didn't reach the goal, but Mark said for whatever reason, and he explained it to me, I don't understand, but he was able to print up the amount of copies because it was a low number. I think right now it's at 33 people that bought the copies. Nobody bought art. You know, when it was originally a graphic novel, some people bought art, but they didn't want it this go around. Whatever. And yeah, so it was a much lower goal he had to reach in order to fulfill that many copies. I did get my one copy, so I'm happy. Um, yeah, but you know, as it stands right now, it's, you know, I think he still wants to reach the goal, or he's still pushing the book. Um, and I've been see, the thing is, I was paid for this gig a long time ago, and I'm not making money currently on it. So I always have to adjust my schedule in order to actually get pages done. And I don't know, I went over it so many times. Maybe a third of the pages for the second issue done, and uh, it's a bit. I don't think Mark knows crowdfunding that well. I think we could do much better. And I kind of suggested that, you know, wait until I get a couple of projects done and then crowdfund, because the rhythm of my business is like people don't know, like I've been out of the loop for so long. I don't have the momentum behind what I'm doing currently, which is, so even though since the summer I've been um, a lot more productive, um, it doesn't mean what I'm doing is highly successful. um, so brings me sort of to now. With all the drawing I've been doing, I'm trying to push more into doing my own art, and I have been selling some more, not only my own art, but some other work um, that I inked previously, which is, you know, a good boost. But my rent's doubled, and the cost of food has doubled, and you know, this with this cat, it's killing me. Like, I spent at least $150 more in the last 2 months with that cat. And yeah, every penny counts. Um, so I've been trying to conceive of a way in which I can go forward, and get on top of my bills, which is mostly my dilemma right now. So, yeah, I mean, the cost of living for me previously wasn't that much, but now it's too much. I'm behind on everything. I borrowed money, and it's ridiculous. Everything's a total mess. But if I got a penciling gig, which is great, but unfortunately along the way, um, the writer creator got hit, and his roof needed major work, so he could only afford so many pages to pay me for so many pages. So that's something we might figure out. Well, he's agreed that we can do this as an ASHCAN instead of a full issue. There have been some successful ASHCANs crowdfunded, and think we're going to give that a shot. I don't know that if that means this year or next year. We'll see. Right now, I only have 2 pages totally done. Working on the third page. I started the book on page 2 for a reason, because I have to develop some more characters, design more characters for the first page. Because more of the main characters started off on page 1. So I got that going on, at least. That's something. Trying to sell more of my art along the way. Not as successful in the last week and a half, but that's okay. What else? I got 2 new inking gigs, because I've been trying to hustle some work. And those will be very helpful, but probably not filling my schedule. So a little bit here, a little bit there. As long as the money flows in better, then things will be better. I got my Patreon, which has been pretty consistent. I lost 1 patron, but it was only $1, so it's been pretty consistent for a long time, so that's good. And what else? I mean, like, things happen out of the blue where people approach me, hey, I want a commission, I want to blah blah blah. I've done. I think people have seen my Hulk commission that I did, and that was a recent one. So yeah, getting work like that helps. And I've gotten I did a poster for animated short. Unfortunately, it worked out to a point. Like the guy was always about, oh, we'll give you more work and more work and more work. And I did the poster, and they're like, well, we decided to go a different way. So they didn't love the piece or whatever. He never went into it, but they probably just found a better solution to. Well, I personally, if I'm doing an animated short, I would have the animators do the poster, but which they might have done. Who knows? I never heard back from the guy. So yeah, I've been hustling, and this is all to say that my focus on retro demands that I cover my bills each month. So I said not too long ago that once I cover my bills, I'll spend the rest of the month working on retro. Well, that's not happening this month. It's already, rolling into the end of October. If I'm lucky, next month will go much better. If I get pages in from both inking gigs, that's a possibility. I put together a full list. If you're watching this and you want some art, you want some inks, you want some pencils, what have you, it's pinned on my Facebook. It's also, I put it on my Twitter. I put it on my Instagram. Twitter, it falls down below. No. I got it pinned on my Twitter. And I could pin it to my Instagram, I believe in a story or something. Since I don't have anything pinned on Instagram, got to figure it out. But anyway, it's pinned on Facebook. Most people go to Facebook. Most people hire me via Facebook, which makes my life easier. Although I get work from everywhere now at this point. So yeah, I can't work on retro unless I got my bills covered, and I need some catching up to do. I'm paying deposit on the cat now, which is another part of just going down to one cat. So that's a more of an expense this month, next month, and then I should be done. So, because my work really has been so sporadic, I really wanted to get a hell of a lot done this year, and I've just fallen so far behind, and now I'm adding more work to everything. Unless somehow we catch a break with Designated, Mark put on a whole audio play at New York Comic Con, and he did a post about it, and in the post he said he was almost to tears because of the reaction to it. So hopefully it generated some energy behind it, because I'm kind of sitting here twiddling my thumbs, and unless he's got a solid plan going forward, I can't work on that. Which I hope he realizes. Like, we've talked. And yeah, I'm just going to continue to work on definitely first what brings me money, and then secondly, some work making art and stuff that possibly will bring me money, because nothing's a guarantee. I mean, and try to find a better balance going forward, and hopefully with these 2 inking gigs and what will develop with the penciling gig, I could be in the black and ahead of myself by the end of the year, into next year. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So what that means is, and okay, so here's a thought. In brainstorming things I can do, one of the things I would love to do is take out a loan and just focus on, paying work as it comes in, but focus on working on retro. It would take me 2-3 months to do everything. It's mostly penciled. No, it's fully penciled. It's 99.9999999% inked. I got the last page to finish off. That's nothing. I do want to do an alternate cover and offer that to the people who already pledged. And there's Scotty Watson promised me a pinup. And he's been working a day job. He's been having challenges getting back into art because he's working 6 days a week, 12-hour days, I believe. And he's got 4 kids. So, if he doesn't deliver, I'm waiting to the last available moment. And at this point, he's got plenty of time. But if he doesn't come through, I already have what I was going to use as a cover. I could simply use it as a pinup by another artist. And that will take the place of Scotty's piece. So I could do it. It won't be the same. I kind of wanted to have a piece that was my character and somebody else's character, but this would-be cover is already paid for, and I don't have the original pencils. It would just be my inks. It's somebody outside of the States that did it, but it's an amazing piece, and it's essentially a feature story, so it plays into it somehow. Okay, so I was thinking alone, and I was thinking a number 8,000, and actually, I talked to a couple of friends about this, like, what can I do? What would work? What would be a possibility? Blah, blah, blah. They suggested just making it 10, and, but I can't get alone, me, myself, being freelance and being, not exactly making the same income every month. It's sometimes very little, sometimes a lot, but that's few and far in between. My credit's shot. So unless somebody approaches me willing to co-sign, that's not going to happen. So 2 other possibilities. One that was suggested was do a second chance campaign. And, well, I thought hard on that. And I don't think that's a possibility. Because I don't want to do a whole campaign when I haven't delivered on the first campaign. Besides the fact that technically I can't do one on Kickstarter because I'm blocked with getting the people's names until I deliver, or at least I say I'm done with the book. I'm ready to ship out to all these people. I can't just start another campaign with the first one I finished on Kickstarter. Now, mind you, I can go over to Indiegogo, or, you know, now there's Fund My Comic. And I know Mark with Designated is using Crowdfunder. It's not ER at the end, it's just R at the end, which is another crowdfunding platform. I'm not too hip to there. You know, I haven't really looked at extensively at what else is going on over there, but Mark is the only one I know using it, so it's not really an active place. There's Zoop, but you know, that's just another one. So yeah, I don't think crowdfunding is in the mix. Just professionally speaking, I don't want to do that. So, last resort, GoFundMe. What I could do is put up a GoFundMe, and you know, it was suggested by another friend of mine to sort of do, you know, like each one that supports me on the GoFundMe towards, you know, essentially giving me time to work on retro, would become a sort of producer, and I would give them a weekly or even twice a week update on what's happening. I could see that if I would push it hard. But I would have to, as of right now, I have not set one up. But it seems the most realistic of ideas. Although I mostly just want to sort of get my ass in gear and get more on top of my workload and force things to work better and just make the money to where I at least have a week at the end of each month to focus on retro, and eventually, you know, first quarter, second quarter of 2024, finally finish it off and, you know, start the printing and shipping and, you know, merchandise and all that jazz. Yeah, and just like, you know, if initially I have to do bits and pieces like just get stickers and just get a bookmark and just get, you know, some prints made and so on. Do a little bit at a time until I eventually have everything. And then ship it a little bit at a time. Like if I have to do piecemeal just to see this through, so be it. So I'm asking you, the viewer, what would you prefer? Should I do a GoFundMe to the extent of really pushing it and giving myself essentially a block of 3 months time to really focus on it and get it done right? Or set up a GoFundMe and just push it enough to where it assists and you know, helps me get the flow of money more consistent and you know, so I'll still, you know, mostly, well, half focus on retro and half focus on everything I got going on right now, or should I just focus on what I got going on right now and maybe even like add another penciling gig or inking gig and make sure it's wall to wall solid, got 4 legs, and it's a career I could sustain myself with, and stop fucking around and just, you know, be a man or whatever the sayings are. So that's where things stand. Like, I really want to work on retro. And as I see it, best way to do that is to finance myself each month, and the extra time I have is when I'll focus entirely on retro, and just get it done when I get it done, which is kind of sooner than the way things have been working out. It's kind of will be sooner than it would have been. I mean, it's, you know, since 2019, there have been a hell of a lot of ups and downs. I mean, initially, this project, me throwing it up on Kickstarter, was a sort of trial effort on my part, because I knew I didn't have to make a dime, and it was only a 5-day campaign. I wasn't exactly precious with the math of it all. So the technically it's 80 people. Like, it says 79 there, but it's technically 80 people, because my friend threw me money on a campaign, but offered to get nothing. But he's getting one of everything. So yeah, I threw up the campaign in a time when I knew I was busy, but I had a block a week where I could spare and really focus on the campaign as it was live. And I did crazy long streams, and I was on other people's shows, and I was talking about it everywhere, sharing it online on the sites, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. Doing videos every day. Yeah, so what I charge for the book is less than what I would charge now. I would charge more for the book itself now. I mean, initially it was going to be a 32-page. Yeah, it was going to be a 32-page. I punched it up to 40 pages. With my, you know, future comic company, it makes sense to make up the first issues bigger. Something special I want to do, and maybe like issue 25 and 50 and 100 will be the same format. We'll see. But you know, I always loved that when Marvel and DC like did something a little special for special issues. And issue 1 is definitely special. Special to me, you know, but it's special to you. And yeah, you know, the cost of paper went up right after. Cost of shipping went up right after. As it is, I don't think I got my math exactly right. Being a newbie to actually setting up my own Kickstarter, which I did like in a day and a half or something like that. When it all comes down to it, you know, I was contemplating it for a while and holding off, and oh, maybe I'll do it next week, and then, you know, when it came down to crunch time, and put it all together in a week and a half, and I'm sure, you know, like the book is $5. It was, I probably have to charge 8 now, something like that. And the shipping, I think I charged 5, and I think, you know, some people charge less, some people charge more. I think that's realistic. I don't know. I still, you know, like next time I do crowdfunding, I'm gonna get closer to the numbers. Because I, you know, like, okay, what I was about to say, I didn't have to make a dime because what happened directly before that was I got a book deal to write not only a novel, but to write 9 novels, to where I would get an advance on 9 different novels. Um, we're talking at least 60,000. I forget exactly how it worked, what it worked out to. Um, Now, mind you, it would have taken me years to write 9 novels, but it was a good amount. You know, it would have paid for a Kickstarter 5 times the amount. You know what I would have got from my first advance. Um, Unfortunately, um, the kid who came to me and wanted me to write these novels, you know, didn't fully know what he was doing, but also his more importantly, his wife passed away, and that was the end of that. You know, he did come back to me 6 months, a year later, with a plan to do it in 6 books or 3 books, a shorter amount of books, but still a considerable amount of money, and that also fell through. So I was kind of relying entirely on that, and that wasn't the only thing that came to me work-wise and fell through. I mean, Designated was originally supposed to be published through a publisher. And that deal, in the end, did not look good, and me and Mark parted with them. It would not have been beneficial for either of us, and we decided to do it on our own. Unfortunately, Mark's got more of a store mentality, not a crowdfunding mentality. Anyway, I hope something clicks with that project, because I'm in it for the long haul, and I want to see it all the way through. I think it's a fantastic story, and the art is great, and I'm having a blast inking it. I just got to get some energy behind it. Like any project. But yeah, so I think, you know, regardless of what happens, I'll probably be searching for another inking gig, penciling gig if I can get it. Just like I said, it's just something to give me another leg to make a solid table of a words, just workload that works much better for me, because it's been a year, this past year, like I have never worked this little. Except when, there's the small gaps in between here and there where I had a full-time day job. There was a time where I worked 6 days a week, 12 hours myself, like my friend's doing currently. And it definitely takes you away from accomplishing that much. And I don't have 4 kids, and currently I don't have 4 cats. I just have the one. So yeah. So once again, final vote. Should I do a major campaign for a GoFundMe to fully finance a gap of time in which I could focus and get, retro issue 1 done as it should be done, as well as, and I don't think I mentioned this before, but that would include all the money I need to print the book, print the merchandise, and ship everything for 80 people. And if I have money left over, I'll print more books. Yeah, so that would include the whole shebang. Nothing else needed. Should I do a light campaign that would dribble in money? Maybe I'll only promote it here in my videos, and that's a portion of my audience. I know not everybody watches my videos. And yeah, that would dribble in money and probably guarantee that I don't fall behind again in my finances, and deal well with this fucking economy as it is now. Hopefully it won't get worse. It usually does, but we'll see. Or should I just, buckle down and get a couple more gigs, make a lot more art, do what I have to do, and retro will get done sometime next year. Maybe later in the year than earlier. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. So, if you're still watching, thank you for still watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, like this video. If you know other people that are interested in what the hell's going on with retro, this is what's going on. My life has been sucky suck, and trying to make the best of it. There was one comment in regards to me not fulfilling early on. This was like a couple of months after, my target date, which was, my target date was 6 months after the campaign fulfilled. It should have been at least a year. So technically, it's been 3 years that I haven't gotten this book done and out. Even if I deliver by May, I think that was when it went live. So if I deliver May 2024, I'll be happy. I mean, for what it is, it's like I wish I already got this book done 100 times over. Just constantly pulled away from it for life, for other work that's gone nowhere, and it's just it's not easy being freelance. Doesn't matter where I worked for Mullen, DC. That was one of the comments. It's like, Peter Palmiotti, he's a professional. He's worked for Mullen in DC. You know what? Working with them is easy. not only do you get the work they tell you you'll be getting, you not only do you get paid for the work that you do for them, but 9 times out of 10, or 9.8 times out of 10, it's guaranteed published. Unlike almost anybody else that I've worked for. So being a professional for them is a cakewalk. Being professional in freelance, everybody has the best intentions. I certainly do, even though I fuck up constantly. But things don't always go as planned. People drop out, people change, teams change. Book sales aren't what they thought they would be, blah, 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 blah. There was one Kickstarter I was a part of with Barry McLean, and I know, like, if we were able to finish that book, it would have been a big phenomenon, whatever I'm trying to say. But it's like, it's 100 cuts, it's 1,000 cuts. Like, it's just like, that's my career. It's 1,000 cuts. And that's why I'm in sucky shape right now. But it's nothing I won't get past. It's just, I'm trying to fulfill this dream of, I crowdfunded this book and I want to get it out. I just looked at Dan Fragger's Indiegogo, and he's probably the same amount of time. I think he's 3 years behind his campaign. And maybe I'm getting the numbers wrong, but there's some serious numbers on there. I have 80 people waiting on me. And, if I had 3 people waiting on me, that's just as important. But I'm saying, like, I'm not the worst case scenario out there. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know what I'm saying. I was talking a lot. Yeah, this is going on 50 minutes. Okay, just a little over. Yeah, that's where I stand. Like, I think my plan is essentially to go forward with, my workload as is. I'm sort of trying to work it better and include making my own art and trying to have more little bits that add to, revenue streams and all that, so that I'm not, if my career relied on designated, I'd be dead in the water. I'll also mention that I have applied to at least just over a dozen places for a job. I'm not looking for a 5 days a week day job. I'm just looking for a part-time job. With a part-time job, I could also get rid of all this, like, because I'm going a couple weeks at a time, not bringing anything in, and if I have work a couple days a week and make a weekly paycheck, however small, whatever, it would definitely give me a better rhythm to what I'm doing as well. So I applied to just over a dozen places Went to half a dozen interviews. No, nothing. Peter doesn't have a day job. So I'll probably include I'll still do that sporadically if something pops up and happens. Because working for, the local fast food place or whatever would be a dependable paycheck as opposed to something that may or may not work out. So yeah, also that. Yeah, but that's it for now. Subscribe, like, share. Tell me down below in the comments what your thoughts are. Hopefully it's something I want to read. Hopefully you don't hate my guts. I'm trying. I'm an idiot at times. I make foolish decisions. I'm human. I got this one skill. Hopefully branching out into other skills like penciling, writing, coloring. But it's still, once I get past this first crowdfunder, the next one is definitely going to be 1,000% differently. I'll have the project done beforehand. That's number one, everything. So this will never happen again. Trust me. Yeah, I wouldn't have jumped in and did it as a 5-day Kickstarter, not worrying about the money. Had I known, I would have to worry about the money, and I would have to scramble to go from, having no future work, because I was planning to take 3 months to write the first novel, and to keeping the roof over my head. Yeah. All right. Enough of this. I'll talk to you again soon. I do plan to be more active here, probably shorter videos. I do want to focus on producing videos that are about art and about comics and not about me. This was all about me. This is enough about me. Live your life. I'll live my life. Let's all be happy and talk about art and comics. Or comics and art, like the sign says. All right, everybody. Have a great one. And I'll see you again soon. Peace.